What's good with the YouTube? You know, Big Flacco with the convict's perspective, and I'm gonna smash, dash, and slide on through with that little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, and do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. And as you can tell, man, a little throwback. This one didn't get a lot of views. It was on the Real Talk channel, but this is a real important topic, man. It's about the influences. What will lead a kid to gravitate that lifestyle of living as a gangster, criminal, and whatnot, man. So these are just some ideas from my personal experience, maybe what I went through, what I've seen from others. And I think it's real important as a parent, as an uncle, as a brother, as a grandparent, as a friend, is to be able to identify those things that may be affecting our youth. So tap in and enjoy this video, man. Please hit all of those things. Keep on pushing this channel, guys. Have a good one.
Um, so today I'm going to do a quick spiel, man, because I had a couple people ask me questions. Like, how do you think kids get gravitated towards gangs? So that's what the topic's going to be right here. We're going to discuss the gang culture. How do kids end up joining gangs? What makes them want to accept that lifestyle? So we got to go back to the basics. Everyone has a different truth. Me as a kid, I think I was an insecure, child. I went through different types of abuses, mental abuse, physical abuse. Didn't really have proactive parents. It was a crazy scenario. I kind of felt neglected in a lot of ways. So for me, I found different outlets. What was popular where I was growing up, which was a gang culture. So it was easy for me to gravitate towards things where I felt accepted. I felt that place. I felt at home. And that's where you have to look at every scenario differently. What are the causes and effects of each kid that's going to make them gravitate towards gangs? What does a gang have to offer? Respect, acknowledgement, something maybe they're not getting at home. Or maybe they just been born into that lifestyle. So everybody has a different truth, a different story. That's why I'm a firm believer in this, that these kids have to be reached out to a young age. By the age of 12, you want to have already reached these kids to stay away from gangs, crimes, and drugs. And the most important thing that we need is proactive parents, a community that can lead, people that want to be impactful in the future. You want to start ingraining positive thoughts in kids at a young age. Instead of talking about, my uncle's getting out, my dad's in prison, you want to teach the kids that you want to go to college, plant that seed. You want to tell them that they want to have a career. Those are the things that these kids need to hear. So, like I said, a lot of it stems from ego, from feeling insecure, from wanting something that to be acknowledged and respected. When I started hanging out with gangs at a young age, I felt accepted. I felt something different. I was away from my home issues. I was over here with my homies. And it was a different way of living. I finally found at home because I didn't know how to live right. That's my truth, and the more I got into it, the more I wanted to, inspire myself to be, the biggest gangster I could be. It was more important for me to put in that work and then brag about it and boast about it because I thought I was cool. When people say, oh, that dude was down, he's with the business, he's this and that, you feed off that ego, and especially if you never had anything in your life, for a lot of people, that's all they know. They do what they do. That's one of my sayings I used to say, hey, you're never going to change and this and that. I used to say, well, I am what I am. Like Popeye the Sailor Man. I just do what I do. And that's the mindset, that you're already defeating yourself before you even get involved in anything further, So that's the whole thing about how kids start to gravitate towards gangs is they want some type of acceptance. They want that security. They want to feel wanted, And when you're kicking it with your homies and you're doing your thing, regardless if it's right or wrong, it's a lot better than the things sometimes that you have going on at home, So that's the thing that as parents, as adults, as uncles and aunts, big brothers and cousins, we got to plant positive things in these kids. We come into this world, we become domesticated by it. And what that means is, when you're born, you don't know nothing. You don't know how the world operates. You're a baby. Everything that you learn in life comes from people, places, and things that you're around. So if you're around a positive environment, if you're around like parents that are proactive, that are pushing the right way, teachers that care, relatives that come in and be a major influence, you're going to see a lot more success in each kid. But when you have kids where their dad's in and out, their mom's a dope fiend, the big brother's a gang member, what do you think the chances are that kid's going to be a gang member as well? How many times have we seen it again where you see a father and son, they both end up in prison? Kids get taken out of homes into CPS, foster care, and after a while they start to revolt, because you never know what issues those kids have that they're dealing with. So you got to gauge every scenario different, because sometimes you may think that you got these kids figured out, man, but each one has a different story of why they've gravitated towards gangs. But the ultimate thing is you got to look at it from different scenarios. A lot of times there's social peer pressure. There's a lack of acceptance. You know what I mean? There's a lack of any involvement from parents or adults, and then sometimes it's just how the hood just calls you sometimes. It's all you know. People, places, and things. So when you're in an environment to where the gang culture is just natural, and those that are in the gang are recognized, what do you think most kids are going to do? They're going to adapt to that. They're going to want to be a part of that. And that's the problem with society, is that they don't focus enough with the kids at a young age. Because by the time a kid hits 13, 14, and they're already going down that path of committing small crimes and going to juvenile hall, being involved in gangs, there's not too much chance for success with that kid. I'm going to be involved in a nonprofit. I'm actually a board member of it that we launched. And I'm not going to go into the details of the name, but in the future I will. I just signed some documents with an attorney. And our whole thing is we want to reach kids. We want to talk to kids at the age of like 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. And the whole thing, what I'm trying to focus on in doing that is I'm not trying to have a template or a blueprint. All these college professors and people that do all these studies with all the analytics. Analytics don't mean nothing but real life experience, because you got to go in there and analyze each kid and see what's getting them, what's the biggest risk for them to join a gang, what's going to make them want to join that gang. Because you get sold a fairy tale by older gang members, and that's a big problem too, man. You get these OGs doing time in the pen, whacking dudes and doing all this stuff, right? For petty charges, oh, he did this to a kid or a woman. These same OGs hit the streets and they're influencing these youngsters to sell dope and, move guns. How do you think they're going to turn out? You should be trying to promote these kids to stay away from that stuff. When I was at that age, 13, 14 years old out there in the streets, there was OGs that were telling me about the stories in the pen and about gang banging on these cats, about how much work and these stories and all that, man. And you soak it up as a kid. You want to have that same type of limelight that they have. For most of us, you have some of those that go through that phase to where the gangs seem cool at that time, but they grow up faster. And then there's some of us that's all that we know. We put our full heart into all that. And no matter what anybody tries to tell us, we block it out. And that's why I'm saying my whole goal with that is to emphasize reaching these kids at a young age. That's the only solution. At-risk kids. You don't hear about gang members becoming 20 years old and they decide to join a gang. They start joining gangs at like 13 years old, 12, 15. Those are the most critical years. But it all starts in the beginning. Some of us come in and, the effects of how we're living and what we see and what we go through is, of course, it's going to make us gravitate towards something else. Because as a kid, that's all we know. That's all we think of our worth, because that's all we've been taught and how we've been treated our whole life. So as soon as we get somewhere, we get some type of acceptance, of course we're going to want to become a part of that. That's just self-explicit. So, what are the solutions to this? You got to reach these kids at a young age. You got to, as a parent, you can't let it be an excuse that you can't be involved in their life. My son, right? One of the things I used to tell him over and over again at a young age was this. What do men do? You know what my son would say? Work hard and take care of their family. Because I'm already trying to instill those values. I taught him about gangs. I taught him about drugs. I talk to him about going to college. When we go by college, I point to the college. I say, that's where you want to go. Because I'm instilling that in his mind to where even though he's not thinking about it, eventually he's going to remember it. So you got to sit there and drill in your kids. Even if you're out there and you're not living the best lifestyle that you can, you got to still be a positive role model to let them know, don't do what I'm doing. You don't have to say it like that, but to still push those positive things to them. Because a lot of us didn't have that. You know, I didn't have no positive role models. You know, I didn't feel like anybody cared about my worth. You know, and I found it within the game. And it just, as soon as I just started to put in more work, and because at first I was a timid kid. You know what I mean? I was a skinny little Flacco. You know what I mean? I wasn't a punk, but I wasn't a beast. I was just there. You know what I mean? Because I felt accepted. I felt wanted. And then as soon as I just started like my lifestyle and I started not caring, and I got to a point to where I went from just being a regular gangbanging kid to someone that was with the shit, and I seen the attention I got from that, I soaked it up. Ego will fuel us to push even harder. We're more concerned about that ego and respect and all this stuff than we are about doing positive things for people out there. And once you start to adapt to things in life, you know, that, you know, you're not thinking about having a job. You're not thinking about doing this. You're thinking about, okay, how many females can I bang? How many enemies can I shoot? How many people can I beat up? What's cracking tonight? Those are the thoughts that you have. You know, and as you get older and older, you know, the sad thing about it is you don't start to mature into a man till later on in life. Even when you're an adult, legal to drink and go to clubs, we still have immature behaviors. And what I'm saying by that is we kind of refuse to accept the positive things of what being a normal civilian is, because we've been so accustomed to that gang lifestyle. It's foreign to us. So therefore we reject it. And it isn't until you get older till you're burnt out and tired of life, and you know, I mean, things haven't gone the way you thought they should go. But if you really look at the picture in the beginning, you can see the answer right then. You know, I mean, you know, gangs, man, have caused too much havoc and have destroyed our communities. One thing's to be down for your hood. What I mean by hood, the community where you're at. Take care of each other. Look after each other. Support each other. You know, don't do crimes. Don't do this and that. You know, but the old community feeling is just not there. You know, so I don't know where the future leads for these kids nowadays. You know, we could talk about potential solutions, you know, but there really isn't no one solution because every kid is different. You know, you just got to try to find a way. But as parents, man, you know, if any new parents are out there listening, you know, if you're a young gang member, you're on the fence, you know what I mean? Think about what you want for your kid. Do you want your kid to go through the same things that you've gone through in life? Because as fun as gangbanging used to be, you know, we don't talk about those times being up in the prison cell up in the shoe. You know what I mean? We don't talk about those days in juvenile hall. You know what I mean? 24 lockdown. We don't talk about the days where, you know, the lady leaves you because you're in prison. We don't talk about finding out your lady cheats on you. All kinds of stuff happens. You know what I mean? Because of that lifestyle. You know, what is life? I've said this before, but creating memories with those that we love. You can't create no memories when you're in a prison cell. You know, and in the prison environment, the jail environment, it's cutthroat. No one really has any type of true honor, no matter what people say. Because they could be your best friend one day, the next day they could stab you in the back with no hesitation, no remorse, just off one order. And those are the things that you start to see. You know, but at a young age, you're not told that what this lifestyle is about. You're not told that, you know, you're going to end up in jail. You may, you know what I mean, in and out. You won't be able to get a successful job, or you got to go through all kinds of loopholes just to be somewhere, be a real civilian. You know, life is hard as it is, just being a normie. Can you imagine how it is being an ex-convict trying to change your life after throwing it away for like 20 years? Instead of going to school, paying attention, just ignoring it, you know, and then starting to feel ignorant because you're not up to par with what society expects. You know, so, I mean, these are things that we really need to sit there and address, man. Like, and I say this to any parent, any grandparent, uncle, cousin, big brother, man. You need to set a positive example for your brothers, for your nephews, for your son. You know, because what you do today is going to affect them tomorrow. Because it's just the little things that I experienced in life that maybe my parents didn't realize that affected me in ways that later on I was still suffering from certain PTSDs. I still felt certain attack when someone gives me criticism. Just little things as kids, it affects you. And so as parents or whatever, we have to have that responsibility. Because if we set the positive guidelines for these kids and set positive examples, they're not going to have the need to gravitate towards these gangs. But if we're not there, the gang's right there calling. Anyways, this is just a couple things I wanted to address, man. Someone hit me up in the comments and said, hey, can you do a spill, man, talking about why do kids want to join gangs? There's a variety of reasons. Peer pressure, acceptance, the respect, the honor. But we need to teach these kids that all that stuff is falsehoods. You're lowering your standards. It's time to raise our standards. Be productive citizens. Help the community. Help others. It's your boy Flacco, man. Real talk. Just a real quick spill. I'm going to get into certain topics like this. You know, I'm going to change it up. You know, I like to have discussions. I'm open to criticism. I'm open to people's opinions. You know, just be respectful. You know what I mean? I don't care if you agree with me or not. But just show a little bit of respect, because I will give you the same respect in return. With that said, it's your boy Flacco. I'm out.
Hey, I'm freestyle this, man. You know, today I try to live my life better, man. But this means I don't forget where I come from. The streets, the pen, the struggle, man. You know, it's real raw shit, man. So I'm gonna spit this from the top of my head, man. I don't promote no violence. I don't promote none of that shit, man. But, hey, it's a life that I should live, man. So, hey, it's time to get a story to tell. Here's mine. You know I'm the truth. Go hard up in the paint. Never been no fake, no 52 tape. I'ma freestyle this shit, cause it's so raw and real. After as a youngster packing man the chrome steel. Looking for the opposite on the block, rolling down with my ponyo hanging down. Looking ready to get down. Look at these clowns. Hey, they talking that shit. Where you from, SA? As I bust them in the lip. Pull that thing out, I keep it fully fucking loaded all the time. I'm ready to get my man. I'm savage in these streets. Ready to take a life, it ain't nothing. Nothing. That what man, I'll show you that we really about something. Small town, get down. Look at these clowns. As I was raised in the in-town. You already know what I do, I act a fool. I don't give a fool you from. I tell you right now, man, I keep them fucking drums. The police stays out, 2 guns straight cocked. Ready to fucking spray when I hit the fucking block. If you an op, hey, you about to get chopped. Cause out here, man, we come the cream of the crop. Hey, zips after sacks, click clack them straps. Be that fucking one, man, know the fucking man. I tell you right now, that I fucking straight listen. Cause the shit that I be spitting, man, have your head straight listen. I'ma be that dude, old school from the block. I'ma be fucking no man, headed to the hood, up to no good. But if I do fucking better, I don't give a fuck if I'm with a pen, I'll write the fucking letters all day. Know what I'm saying? It ain't no fucking games. Ever motherfuckers, man, trying to fit the king of the race. Man, you can't take my spot. I believe fucking no, man, I sold that shit on up. Man, I tell you right now, no punks, no chumps, no bitches, no lames, no pussy motherfuckers, man, we ain't playing no games. Hear my fucking rage when I was out on the streets. I was the one out there going hard, ready to feast. Anybody wanna fucking cross the fucking line? I tell you right now, I was a savage my time. That one, man, I was ready to ride. Ain't no woo-wop in fucking lies.